Well, our good early season form here at Jahn Regensburg has just slowed down a little bit off the back of our loss to Eintracht Frankfurt in the Champions League at the end of last week. Fingers crossed today we can pick it back up, albeit going to be tough. We've got Real Madrid at home in the Champions League and then Cologne, who are just above us on the Bundesliga table. Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 76 of Rookie to Royalty here on Shaun Does FM with Jahn Regensburg. I hope you're doing well and come up today. Got a game in both the Champions League and the Bundesliga. First up we host Real Madrid and then we travel away to take on second place Cologne, just 1 point above us on that Bundesliga table. So hopefully you guys are looking forward to those two games coming up in today's episode, but it comes off the back of the end of last week. We took on both Eintracht Frankfurt and Celtic in our first couple of games in the Champions League as well. So if you missed that one, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner. Off the back of that, we had to play Eintracht Frankfurt again, but this time at home in the Bundesliga. And thankfully, huge bounce back from us here. We picked up a 4-0 win, first half goals there to Rivera as well as to Alanis. Rivera completed a double at the 69-minute mark. Nice timing there, just off the back of a Navia's goal as well. The young right winger that we did sign getting his first goal for the club there off of the bench. So a big bounce back there against the team we lost 1-0 to at the end of last week. But then we had an international break, and since then we have been a little bit average, even with this 4-2-3-1, which has been going pretty well so far this season. A 2 draw their way at Freiburg. That's not too good because Freiburg are down near the relegation zone. Thankfully got into gear here with some subs we made in the second half, and Rivera, he picked up a double. And then we took on Schalke at home. Not a bad team to be fair, just sitting outside of a top 4 spot. Again, to come from behind a couple of times, but thankfully we did, to pick up a 2-2 draw. So unfortunately our form off the back of the international break has not been too good, and that's the reason that we have sunk down that Bundesliga table just a little bit now. 1 point behind both Cologne and Bayern Munich. So to be fair, it's not too bad still. We haven't lost any games, the only unbeaten team left in the Bundesliga. Let's hope we can keep that up when we take on Cologne second up in today's episode. But yeah, Bayern have gone ahead of us now. That might be a little bit tough to make up unless we can find a way to beat them when we take them on, and obviously keep beating all the other teams who aren't Bayern Munich, which so far we have been doing a decent job at. But first up today, we're going to focus on the Champions League. A mixed start so far, a win against Celtic and a loss to Eintracht Frankfurt, which I thought actually was a little bit of a poor result, albeit Real Madrid aren't actually going too well so far. They've played 2 games and they've lost to Atletico Madrid at home and Chelsea away. So to be fair, they're actually struggling so far on 0 points from their first 2 games, while being absolutely perfect though in La Liga and sitting top of the table by a good 5 points over Barcelona. So to be fair, might not be the worst idea that we turned down that Real Sociedad offer that we did get going into the start of the season. Enzo Maresca does seem to be doing a pretty good job there, at least in terms of La Liga. It's a very strong Real Madrid team. Jude and Kylian Mbappe are still there. No Trent, of course. He's actually loyal in the save, unlike in real life. No secret Spanish lessons there. They do have a couple of injuries though going into this game. We'll notice it there on the home screen on the team news. Arda Rodri, who they've picked up from Man City, and even Mbappe, a gash lower leg, that might make him a little bit less effective. But thankfully, injury-wise, we are good going into this first game of today's episode. In terms of the tactic that we're going to go with here for this first game, the 4-2-3-1, clearly the best of the two that we usually use here at Jahn Regensburg, doing a lot better than the 4-3-3 does against this Real Madrid team. So fingers crossed here, we can pick up a decent result. To be fair, not a game you'd expect it from, but at home I'm kind of hopeful at the very least we can pick at least a point up maybe from this game, find a way to surprise this Real Madrid team a little bit, especially if they do take us slightly like they might think they can with us. Obviously, not having the biggest coefficient in Europe, that might be a reason that they see this as a game that they can rotate in just a little bit. But there's the Madrid team. It's pretty good. They are risking Mbappe up front. They've got Rodrigo, they've got Vinicius, and they've got Jude. Obviously, I was talking rubbish then. They're taking this seriously, seeing as they've got 0 points from their first 2 games. To be fair, it probably does mean now they have to take all these Champions League games quite seriously. But a couple of changes to our squad for this game compared to our usual best 11. That's because some players are not in great form. Jimenez comes in at right back and Walden at right wing. That's on form over both our new Italian right back as well as Lazar, and also Rene Muller is in there over Rivera. That's because of a heavy workload. Actually would have preferred there to have Rivera up top based on his form off the back of the end of last week, but no, he's a bit injury prone, so Rene Muller hopefully can do a job for us here in this big clash with Real Madrid. So to be fair, with our usual best 11, there's only really one change at right back, with Jimenez coming back in, so fingers crossed he can do a good job here in this big clash. It's fair to say probably our toughest one so far of the Saver Champions League night against Real Madrid, who are in the black, and unfortunately they are on the attack here early with a throw inside our half. Montgomery on the ball. To be fair, at this stage of the save, there's a couple of players out there I don't know too well, being new gens and whatnot. We try and win the ball there down our left-hand side. We can't quite do it. They play a ball in there for Kylian Mbappe, but thankfully Batata comes up there with a good save. So an early chance there for Real Madrid. Thankfully, we keep it at 0-0. And from the corner, that one, I think there might have got cleared off the line or tipped over again by Batata. I think that one actually must have got cleared off the line. His rating has not gone up off the back of that. They try and take their sneaky corner to the edge of the box. Thankfully, just do enough there to break it up. But Vinicius Jr. plays it back into the mixer, and we eventually get a chance here to clear our lines. Maybe a chance now through a counter-attack, but Jude tracks back well for that sliding tackle on Lewis Walden. Might be two former England teammates there, the way Lewis Walden's going. He can't be too far off a call-up, being eyed up now by some big clubs like Liverpool, but thankfully another corner, they put that one just over the bar. And also thankfully, of course, these days, no release clause, and his homegrown clubs unlikely we will sell him there to Liverpool. But now a free kick, Jorquera goes really close. That one gets there, tipped on to the woodwork. It looked like, for some reason there, get the goal line technology, even though it was pretty clear it didn't make its way over the line. But a chance for us there from a free kick, Jorquera. Not quite hitting the mark like he did in his debut here last season, but still we know he's quite threatening from those free kicks. Hopefully he might get a few more chances. But now it's Real Madrid on the attack, and Jimenez, who we bought in because of form, gets a red card. We're officially in the mud. Oh dear. I think Real Madrid here might be picking up their first couple of points here in the Champions League. So Ballerini will bring on for Lucchini. Now I think just play without an advanced playmaker for the rest of this game, because really that's about all we can do. And somehow actually got a throw off the back of that change. So we'll see maybe if we get a 10-man boost. Walden, some lovely work from him there off the back of that throw from Ballerini. He puts it away. Gotta love the 10-man boost. We've gone 1-0 up only a couple minutes off the back of that Jimenez red card. So thankfully it's not impacted us too much so far. We'll see how long that does last. But Lewis Walden, some great work there to beat Mamadashvili from that tight angle, and we take a very surprising 1-0 lead off the back of that Jimenez red card. We'll see how long this lasts. Try and get in here to halftime, which thankfully we do. But seems we've already used the sub up there with that change that we had to make thanks to that Jimenez red card. I don't think we're going to do too much here at halftime, apart from tell the guys actually quite happy with that first half, seeing as Jimenez has let us down a little bit. So 1-0 lead, not going to change anything, because so far actually looks like we're doing quite decently in this game. Let's just get stuck in to the second half. Definitely now going to have to take some players off immediately when they do drop down to red hearts, because 10 men, we don't want any tired players out there. That's something that Madrid could make the most of. And early on here in the second half, they are on the ball. Jude plays that one for to Vinicius, and now Rodriguez back to Jude. But that pass is poor. Jimenez can intercept that one, the good one, who's still on the field. And now Muller will take on a long-range effort. Somehow it beats Mamadashvili. I thought that one was a bit speculative. He's put it away. Jude there with a poor giveaway. Quim Jimenez doing a good job there in defensive midfield. And to be fair, Rene Muller here had a lot of work to do. It hits Mamadashvili's hands, goes through them somewhat, but their vicarious effort in the Champions League final from all those years ago, and we take a 2-0 lead, still with only 10 men to beat Madrid so far, with not many shots on target, thankfully. But now, just checking here on some player fitness, and also we might just lower our tempo and do some ever so slight time-wasty stuff while we've got this 2-goal lead at 1-0. Don't think that was too appropriate, but now we can try maybe and frustrate this Madrid team. Now Dawn goes down to a red heart, obviously, as I said before, with 10 men, need to take off these players when they do get low on their fitness. So Henning can come on there at left back, and we'll deal with the rest of this while making our way through the remainder of this game. But now, both our midfielders on red hearts as well. Jimenez, who had a big impact in that second goal, we did score, as well as Jorquera. They drop down, so Haasman can come on for Jorquera and La Rosa for Jimenez. But one more sub that we can make, Cuervo and Fernandez, the players who aren't doing too well out there. The rest of them actually are doing a good job. So I think maybe we do Alanis here at left wing instead of Fernandez. Get some pace there down our wings. Keep on Walden and Muller, seeing as they're the goal scorers, and those will be all our subs used with still 19 minutes left. So maybe soon a bit of time wasting a little bit earlier than we usually do it in terms of the full out stuff, because so far it's only a little bit that we're doing. But thankfully Madrid aren't getting too many shots on target. Definitely going better here in the second half than they were in the first. And now, with 10 minutes left, time for us here to do some pretty much full-on time wasting, be more disciplined, and early on, we'll chuck these wing backs onto full backs as well. We'll see if that might help out here. Unfortunately, Walden is on a red harp so far. Pretty good game from him, scoring that goal that gave us the 1-0 lead right off the back of that red card. And of course, no subs left, but now a free kick. Rodrigo will try to put that one top left corner. Thankfully, Battaglia with a decent save, but be fair, that one was quite long range. But now the corner being taken from Mbappe plays this edge of the box there for Vinicius Jr. They try and pick out there someone down the right-hand side in Bowie, who I believe used to be at Bayern Munich going to the start of this season. But thankfully, he's offside, and now definitely time for us here to do some proper full-on time wasting. Off the back of that, we somehow have a corner. If we can make this 3-0, that would be all sorts of funny. Real Madrid not looking too hot, just like in real life last season in Europe this time around. But thankfully, we keep the ball despite that corner not being too good. Some nice short passing. Muller will try and put that one top left corner, but well and truly offside. That one a little bit of a waste of a highlight. We make our way into only 3 minutes here of added time. There's a long throw in here for Real Madrid, which they somehow keep the ball from, and they put that one into the mixer for Mbappe, and Fabio Rodriguez will put that one away. So now we might actually pull back here to a little bit of a 4-4-1, obviously not a 4-4-2. We've only got 10 men, so we'll try here. Alanis is a defensive winger. Lewis Walden can also play as a winger on support, still just a bit further back there in a 4-4-2, and Henning can go into support instead of attack. And also maybe we change Muller to a pressing forward on defend as well. So a couple of role changes here, and we'll really lower the tempo down here late on in this game. Just hopefully make sure that Real Madrid don't find a way to burgle any points off us, because so far we've still got all 3 points there, even though Rodriguez grabs that late goal. A little bit cheesy there with that throw, but to be fair, finally they make the most of us only having 10 men out there on the field. We probably should have stopped that ball there into Rodriguez, but damn it, man, it eventually takes a toll. But so far, making our way quite quickly through these 3 minutes of added time. That's all she wrote. That is probably our most impressive win so far of the save. We went down to 10 men relatively early there and then scored 2 goals either side of halftime to grab a 2-goal lead over Real Madrid. They grab one beat there late for a little bit of a cheesy throw-in routine, but we hold on and pick up our most famous win so far here at Jahn Regensburg, and that is quite unexpected off the back of our previous efforts with this formation in the Bundesliga off the back of that international break. Because it's fair to say, off the back of the end of last week, we've not been too great apart from that 4-0 in the league over Eintracht Frankfurt, and that was before the break. So that is a huge result. Real Madrid in all sorts of trouble early in the Champions League. 0 points from their first 3 games. To be fair, they took on some decent teams up until us. Maybe we're a little bit better than I thought we were here this season at Jahn Regensburg. Justified now, I think, in staying here instead of going to Real Sociedad, because that is a huge win with only 10 men. For now, we sneak inside of one of those top 8 qualifying spots, skipping that first knockout playoff round, albeit with our fixtures not too sure how long that will last. But big win there, 2-1 over Real Madrid with only 10 men. So an absolutely massive win for us first up there in today's episode. Huge upset over Real Madrid 2-1 despite that red card. Here are some of the other results from that match day. Eintracht Frankfurt, they pick up a winner over Final. Going down further, Everton haven't been too bad so far. That team out of Switzerland, but they got thumped there 6-1 by PSG. And going forward to the Wednesday, here are some other results. Borussia Dortmund, they are struggling big time, as you'll see shortly when we go back and check in on that Bundesliga table. And also Real Sociedad, 4-1 loss to Spurs. yeah, quite glad we didn't join them. So that does mean that we probably slipped outside of that top 8 for now. Indeed, we dropped down to 10th, but still in a pretty strong position off the back of that win over Real Madrid. A big upset, but off the back of that, hopefully can back it up here as we take on Cologne away from home in the Bundesliga. These guys, they do sit in third. They've dropped down a spot just like we have. Gladbach have climbed above us off the back of a win the day prior to this game that we play on a Sunday. But they've just been a little bit better than us so far this season with the one extra win compared to us. They lost 4-0 to Bayern before that most recent match day that we did play in Europe. They picked up a 3-1 win there over Besiktas here in the Conference League. To be fair, it's definitely a competition. They should be going quite close. But Cologne can be a funny team. Last season got off to a really hot start, but then dropped down the table quite a bit before making a late surge into that Conference League qualifying spot, predicted to finish 7th. So to be fair, they're not that far above us now in terms of the season preview here in Germany. Hopefully can find a way to pick up a result against these guys. A quick update too. Surprisingly, we are going to go here with a different formation. The 4-3-3 does look like it's going a little bit better than the 4-2-3-1 does against this team here in Cologne. So despite the fact we've just picked up a big win there with 10 men against Real Madrid with the 4-2-3-1, we'll change things around here for this clash in the Bundesliga. And there's a quick look too at the table on the right-hand side. Borussia Dortmund are currently in a promotion relegation game spot. So maybe that job might come up sooner. Maybe that contract we signed, that was at a bad time. Not too sure if that might rule us out of maybe making a move there to Borussia Dortmund, because definitely that would be a team, I think, who would have to consider pretty seriously if they came after us for a move here from Jahn Regensburg. But as I said, maybe don't need to worry about that with that contract that we did sign back in July when Real Sociedad, they were sniffing around us. But here's our team for this game. It's our best 11. No changes to what we usually do here with this Jahn Regensburg team. So to be fair, not many excuses for us here to not play well away at Cologne off the back of that big result against Real Madrid, even though this one is away from home in Cologne. They're a team that in the save we've been a little bit up and down against, but they're also going with a 4-3-3. So a battle here of the 4-3-3's instruction. And role-wise though, it's the exact same as our 4-2-3-1. So hopefully can put out here another really good performance off the back of that huge effort against Real Madrid. Thankfully, everyone's backed up quite well a few days off the back of that game Tuesday into Sunday. A little bit more of a longer gap compared to what we usually have here with Jahn Regensburg so far this season, usually playing on Saturdays off the back of the Champions League. So fingers crossed here can make the most of that longer break. Good early chance here, some lovely football, but Fernandes, his shot does get blocked. Hopefully can create something still in this highlight. Someone went down. It was the goalkeeper Fernandes there with a push when it wasn't really needed. So we give away a free kick with an early chance there. Just can't quite get the shot off. So it does remain at 0-0. But encouraging signs early, albeit now. It is here Cologne who are on the attack. Their shirts actually look a little bit RB Leipzig-like for some reason. But it is Cologne here who we take on away from home. A lovely through ball there too for Noel Lopez. Somehow Batata gets beaten at his near post. Not good work there for our new Brazilian goalkeeper who so far has done a really good job ever since we've signed him, but that is pretty average. Bahoya continues to be a nuisance, albeit he in the end did not actually play the assist that was Sudakov, and Noel Lopez gets in behind our defence there on our right-hand side, but Tata probably should have seen that coming. Not too good positioning there from our new first-choice goalkeeper, so unfortunately we go 1-0 down there off the back of Cologne's first attack of this game. Before then Fernandes with a decent chance couldn't take it, and that's what's proven costly so far. It's been a very quiet game, just one chance to both teams halfway through the first half, but now we are back on the ball. We pick out here Ballerini and a bit of space here down our right-hand side, have dropped Jimenez. That red card, not too heavy with him, but thankfully that suspension does only count in the Champions League, where next up we take on Monaco. Maybe we come back for some Champions League action in tomorrow's episode, but off the back of that Real Madrid result, actually now in a pretty decent spot in that competition. We floated ball far post there, it gets headed wide. So far we're doing a lot of floated crosses. Indeed, still got low crosses turned on here with this tactics. Not too sure why we're putting the balls in the air here so much in this game so far. That does seem a little bit rogue from our players, but now we try and make our way out from the back. We do it terribly, but thankfully they put that shot wide and high off the top left corner. So that really could have been 2-0 to Cologne so far, looking pretty average in this game, but now a free kick and somehow away Dawn will loop that one over a diving goalkeeper who doesn't quite get there. While we're here, we'll get Lewis Walden to ease off tackles on that yellow card, but thankfully we've found a way here to make it 1-1. Definitely not the plan, because I think someone a bit taller there has tried to get in the way of away Dawn, but thankfully did not make contact, and Dawn can put that one away and make it 1-1. So thankfully we make up there for that early mistake from Batata, I think it's fair to say, for that first goal that we did concede. But now Quim Jimenez with a yellow card. So a couple of subs I think coming up here at halftime. Ballerini also not going too well, so a bit risky, but Jimenez, let's bring him on. Fingers crossed this time there's no red cards. And also LaRosa in the balling midfield role and Lazar at right wing for those players who picked up yellow cards there earlier in that first half. So 3 subs here at halftime. Not playing that well, but we're locked up at 1-1 against the team just above us on the Bundesliga table. So to be fair, not too disappointed with how we're going scoreline-wise, but performance-wise, defensively, it's not been too great. So let's hope here we can get Aiton gear a bit more in the second half and improve a bit, and hopefully find a way to somehow burgle a win. But so far, it's been a relatively even game XG-wise, ever so slightly on the front foot, and possession-wise as well. We have had a bit more of the ball too, so hopefully that continues here in the second half. Unfortunately, the first shot there is from Cologne, but stats-wise, this has been a pretty average game. Not too much going on, but now it's Fernandes who drops down to a 6.4. So Alanis, he can come on for him with a half hour left. Just one more sub that's left to be made. Maybe go to a higher tempo sooner rather than later, because so far not up to too much here in terms of our attack. And now it's a corner, and Cologne will try and put this one to the mixer there at the near post. It gets saved from Lawrence, but then Lopez is there, right place, right time to poke that one home. We might even switch here to the 4-2-3-1, because so far this 4-3-3 not up to a lot. Maybe that was a mistake off the back of that big performance against Real Madrid, changing our formation, because yeah, that worked really well against Real Madrid, despite the fact that we were down 2 10 men. But unfortunately, good block I think that was there on that Lawrence header. But Lopez picks up a double because our defenders not up to too much there at the far post. So unfortunately, pretty average so far here in the second half. And we're 2-1 down now, a free kick. We try and put this one far post. Unfortunately, no one home, but Lazar can tidy things up for us here. Plays it in there to Hawkera Dawn. Nice ball in there for Lucchini. His header goes just wide. It's a decent chance there for us to try and make it 2-2. And now Cuervo picks up a yellow card. So we have a final sub here. Altvasser can come on for him. And also, we'll go a little bit more up tempo here for the final 15 minutes or so of this game. Just see if that might create a few more chances, because so far there's not been too many. Now it's Cologne who are well on top in all the stats, including the XG, at least the important ones there. The top 3 position-wise, we're still not doing too bad. But to be for the 4-2-3-1, also not doing too much. We're going to change here to a bit more of an attacking 4-3-3 for the final 5 minutes of this game and go full-on up-tempo, be more expressive, and get our goalkeeper distribute quickly. And also, we'll go attacking as well and put Hawkera onto attack, and also LaRosa onto support as well. So quite a few changes. We'll try and take the game here to Cologne, seeing as we are already a goal down, but unfortunately, just nothing really working here in this game like it usually would. Thankfully, did score with our only shot on target, albeit it doesn't matter because we've lost there 2-1 to Cologne. So our first defeat there of the Bundesliga season. A little bit surprising off the back of that win against Real Madrid with 10 men, but away from home Cologne, they can be tricky and do tend to start their seasons off quite well. That continues. We suffer our first defeat here of the league season. Thankfully, I'm pretty sure we'll still stay inside of a Champions League qualifying spot off the back of our previous unbeaten run in the Bundesliga so far this season. But that's come a little bit out of nowhere. A poor performance off the back of our big win in the Champions League, a 2-1 loss at Cologne. So unfortunately suffer our first defeat there of the Bundesliga season, despite the fact we were able to put out a really strong team for that game, and also we were in quite good form. That was our first loss in the league there in 22 matches ever since Bayern Munich, about halfway through last season. So that is a bit disappointing. Hopefully can get back in form off the back of that defeat away from home. Thankfully, we do stay inside of a top 4 spot, but now there's a few teams who are within touching distance, which wouldn't have been the case if we could have picked up some points there. We might have had a game there that we could afford to slip up in. So Eintracht Frankfurt and Union Berlin could not catch us, but still, been a pretty good start to this season here at Jahn Regensburg. A huge win there over Real Madrid first up in today's episode. Unfortunately, do lose to Cologne, but still not doing too badly inside of a Champions League qualifying spot. So that will do it for today's episode. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. Now, as I said before, we might come back tomorrow. Probably not as important as it would have been if we lost to Real Madrid like I was expecting, but in November, we've got not many tough teams here, it looks like, in the Bundesliga, so we'll probably come back and do some Champions League action. We've got Monaco there away from home. They're struggling big time, but away, that could be a potential banana skin depending on our fitness there off the back of Hamburg in the Bundesliga, as well as Heidenheim in the second round of the DFB Pokal. That's probably a chance there for us to use our rotation players. And then off the back of an international break and Werder Bremen in the league, we've got Hellas Verona, who've done a pretty good job so far. That's the team that Sebastian Hornes left to go manage Real Sociedad after we turn them down. So we'll come back tomorrow and play a few Champions League games here against Monaco and Hellas Verona. So until then, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.